We were getting to the end of the semester in December, and we had like 2 or 3 left for some of my kids for these subjects. And I emailed our sponsor teacher and I said, oh my gosh, I cannot get these 3 done. Can you help me? What can I do? And I was like, now you tell me. Hello. Nice to see you today. We are going to share how our last quarter went. So today I'm going to share what I am loving, and then I will share what I'm not loving so much and what didn't go well in our October, November, December time of the school year. So first thing is, what am I loving? What went well in our second quarter this year? And the main thing that I loved was our read alouds. That's always been a big hit in our homeschool, and I think that's something that I've managed to figure out how to do well. I make sure we do it most days of the week, and we've really been loving the suggestions we've been getting for the Kind Kingdom. And we've been going through the Chronicles of Narnia, and we've read a few of them before, but we're jumping in and trying to go through all of the books just in this entire year. We've made it through 4 of them already, and we're on Prince Caspian right now. The other thing I'm loving is our IEW writing curriculum. And we've never done it before. This is our first year. If you don't know what that is, it's Institute for Excellence in Writing. And I'll link to a couple videos here that you can watch where I talk about it and how we're using it. And I love the video streaming lessons. My 4th grader is using that, just the basic structure and style. Level A, year 1. It's nice because I don't have to teach it. It's something that I was able to take off my plate, which I talked about earlier this year, and it's been going really well. He doesn't love it, but I like that it gives him a structure for writing, it gives him a structure for a class, and I think he enjoys it, the class itself. The actual writing he doesn't love. I make him do it anyway. But to have a structured writing class has helped him a whole lot. And I've seen him grow so much in his writing this year. And I was just so nervous for this kiddo, thinking, it wasn't gonna happen, or I was gonna have to pull in some bigger resources here. But I think this was what he needed, and I think this is just the right year for him. He's going through it really slowly though. We're not doing it every single day, and he doesn't do a whole lesson every single day. Since he does struggle with language arts and with writing a little bit, adapted it for his skills and what he's able to do, so it's a manageable pace for him. So that's what we've been doing. And then my 6th grader, my 12-year-old, is using IEW as well, the U.S. History Writing Lessons course. And what's really, really cool is I found a local homeschool class for this. There's a teacher that teaches this, and again, it's something off my plate. I don't have to teach it. I'll get to more later and explain what did happen with it and how I was a little bit too hands off with it. My daughter is also growing in her writing skills, and she's learning how to write a paper every week. And I did not know how to do that until late in high school or even in college. So I'm super proud of her. That's been a huge jump in her work and just what she's able to produce this year, and I'm super proud of her. So that went fairly well. There are some negatives about it that I'll get to about later, but overall, I'm still loving it. By the way, if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Ashley here at Joyful Noise Learning, and welcome here. I love to chat about Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool, affordable homeschooling resources, and biblical homeschooling resources. Love to talk about ways that we can teach our kids the Bible and get them excited about that. So if you're interested in any of that and any of that resonates with you, I'd love for you to stick around. Give me a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up there. And I'm so glad to have you here in our community. The other thing I'm loving is Math with Confidence. Yes, again, I'm so glad. This is my favorite curriculum math ever, and I wish it had come around sooner. I cannot just talk about that enough. So my 4th grader is in the pilot group for the 4th grade curriculum. It's not out yet. It will be another 2 years before that comes out, but we're able to do that and print off the lessons, and it's going really well overall. And then my 2nd grader, he is loving it. It is perfect for his style of learning. It's got just enough workbook time with just enough lessons with me and a few games and just some math games to help him memorize facts and learn things. And it's been a lot of fun. I've got lots of fun videos on Math with Confidence if you want to watch those, but I'm still loving that. The other thing I'm loving has to do with math again, which I don't think I've ever loved a math curriculum before until Math with Confidence, but since Math with Confidence doesn't have a 6th grade level, we're using Saxon 7.6, and I announced that earlier in this year in my curriculum announcement video, but I'm loving Nicole the math lady, and we signed up for that program so she teaches the lessons, and I don't have to teach the lessons to my daughter. She can be independent with it, which she actually likes. She enjoys doing it on her own. And if ever I like sneak in to try to peek on her, she's like, Mom, can you leave? I'm doing this by myself. I said, okay. But I noticed for a while there, I was struggling finding time to grade. So halfway through the semester, I added on the grading portion of Nicole the math lady. And that way she does her work like on her paper, but she has to input the answer onto the computer, and then it grades it right there for her right away. So she gets immediate feedback if she got it right or not. And she gets like 5 chances to try to get it right. And then if she continues to do that and gets it wrong, she and I look over it later and I try to help her and see where she needs more help. But I love that it grades it for me, and I love that it's actually, it doesn't take too long. I thought it would take longer than it does, but my daughter has a good like pace that she's doing with it, and she doesn't complain about doing math like she has in the past and hadn't loved doing it, but she doesn't complain about it now. And it's a little less hands-off. I mean, it's a little less hands-on for me, and it's going really well. So I'm thankful for that. There's seriously so much snow, and it's cold and it's windy, and we're staying inside today for sure. Now let's get into what didn't go well and what I was not loving, and I would, maybe like to try again or redo this coming semester. So I have to explain this backstory. You ready for a story? We have joined this thing called Tech Prep, which in our state is basically like you've joined a public school, but you do it at home. But the cool thing with that is you still get to pick the curriculum and all the resources or the classes that you as a family want to do. So I'm able to still do homeschool as I have in the past, but the only thing with that is I have to do some check-ins with them. So each week I have to report basically, and the kids have to share something they made or did or learned, something they created, their math test or whatever. They just have to prove that they did work throughout that week, which I was a little bit nervous about at first because I like our homeschool to be, somewhat on track like we're doing school, but I like it to be a little more flowy and organic, if you will, or natural, like natural learning. Like instead of doing math, we'll make a cake or something and talk about the fractions and the cups that we're measuring and things like that. And that's how I did school when the kids were younger. And I felt like we've kind of gotten away from that for a while. And I definitely felt like I got away from it with doing Tech Prep because we were reporting every week. And I felt like, oh, we have to get this done. We have to get this done and turn these things in. And there were these 8 core learning goals for each of the 4 main subjects that I have to do in order to continue with Tech Prep. Other than those 8 learning goals, we could do whatever we want and just report what they learned or what they did. That's not a big deal, but there are certain standards that were having to be met. I originally thought that all these 8 learning goals had to be met on each semester. So I thought there was 16 goals for the whole year and we had to do all 8. So in the first couple quarters, I was like busting my butt and like, okay, we can't do our fun stuff today because we have to do this thing for Tech Prep. We have to get this math project done right now, or you can't go do this. You know what I mean? Like I was like, we got to get this done. I became, the drill sergeant mom again, and I was worried about our checklists again, which is something I've been trying to get away from and be a more relaxed homeschooling mom. We were getting to the end of the semester in December, and we had like 2 or 3 left for some of my kids for these subjects. And I emailed our sponsor teacher and I said, oh my gosh, I cannot get these 3 done. Can you help me? What can I do? And she wrote back and she was like, oh, what do you mean? You only have to do 4 of the learning goals. You don't have to do all 8 this semester. Now you tell me. So I was so thankful on one hand because, hey, we're ahead now. We're not behind. We're technically ahead now. Nobody's behind. that like, I felt like all the first half of the year I was walking around with this thing on my shoulders, and I was just awful. Like, homeschooling wasn't like a joy for a few weeks. It was like a drudge, like I had to do it. I did not like being in that space. As soon as I read that email and I saw that, oh my goodness, that weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was like, oh, praise the Lord. I can slow down. I can enjoy the process. We can do some of our more natural, organic learning things, and we're gonna get those other things done. We're gonna get there. And there's only literally like 1 or 2 left for each subject, and we have several months to do that. So, like, seriously, big weight off my shoulders. Now I want to come back to my 6th grader and her IEW writing class experience. And on one hand, I noticed that it was going well, but I noticed that she was struggling to finish her assignments before she had to go to class. And there were several times where she's turning in a not really complete assignment. Towards the end of the semester, her teacher texted me, "Hey, Ashley, your daughter's not doing so well in my class. Is there something I can do to help her?" And she was...
Hey, editing Ashley here. And I have to say that it wasn't that she couldn't do the assignment. Like, I know she was capable of doing the assignment and adding in the dress ups and all those things. She just wasn't finishing the assignment. Does that make sense? So we were mostly working on the time management and checking in issue. But she is very capable of doing good writing and all those things, and doing a good job. So yeah, back to the story.
She was super gracious and gentle about it, but she was like, she's not finishing these checklists, and I need to know if we need to update the checklist for her and do a modified assignment, all these things. And so I wrote back to her and explained, hey, sorry, I'm just one of those moms where both of us, both my daughter and I, struggle with time management. That's a story for another day. We've grown a lot. We have. Yes, we have, guys. We've grown a lot. I have a couple videos on that if you want to see those. But this is one thing where I'm like, oh, dang it. It's not just me that it's affecting. It's her. And I'm like, okay, how can I put this on her shoulders, but still, help and not completely put it on my daughter's shoulders. Or this teacher offered, she said, hey, I will do some tutoring for her if you like. And I thought about my schedule and I said, I don't have time for more tutoring. With the way our week goes, I'm really kind of at max for our out of the house activities. I was like, I will sit down with her. I'm a former English teacher. I know how to do this stuff. I'm happy to look at her things before she turns it in. And I realized that we have co-op every other Tuesday. And on those weeks that we had co-op, she doesn't have really Tuesday at all to work on this lesson because her class is on Wednesdays and has to be done by Wednesday. The first problem was that she needs to get it done on time, ahead of time. Second problem was I need to make time to sit down and go over it with her. I need to be less hands-off. I was very hands-off before and didn't look at them at all. But apparently she needed more of that help, especially since this was her first writing class officially. And she really, she has a gift in writing. She does pretty well overall, but there are just certain things she has to learn and needed some extra help with. So here's what I decided. So if I need to check it, it needs to be checked Wednesday morning at the very latest. If we are at co-op Tuesday all day, she doesn't have time to work on it and I won't have time to look at it. So I decided on the weeks of co-op, her assignment has to be done by Monday night before she goes to bed. If it's not, she cannot go to co-op. She can stay home and finish her assignment on Tuesday. And that was the parameters and boundaries that I gave her. And we just started that 2 weeks ago, really. So on that Monday, it wasn't done during the day. So she sat at the computer all the rest of the evening, finally finished it at 9 or 9:30 at night on Monday, last time we had co-op. And then I was like, okay, great, now you can go. And then she and I were able to go over it on Wednesday morning, and then she was taking it to her class Wednesday afternoon. So I think that's going to work out well. And again, it's going to take follow-up on my part to be consistent with that. And if she doesn't get it finished, I'm gonna have to say, sorry, you can't go to co-op. So I'm ready to do that. And I'm thankful, she's old enough now and my husband works from home that I can leave her home. So she's not completely unsupervised, but that's just gonna be a consequence that puts some of that responsibility on her and not just on me bugging her to get it done. Whew, those were some long stories. I've got 2 more quick things, and then we're gonna wrap this video up, and you can watch the next one to see how I use the Kind Kingdom this last semester and scheduling changes that I've made. So the last couple things is we had some sickness in December, and I think I shared this on another video, but I got sick right smack in the middle of December with the flu, and I let the kids just do basic school, and I sat on the couch here sleeping on and off for a few days. So I had some fun stuff planned both for Christmas and for school, and I didn't get to do any of it, really. It was like 2 days before Christmas, and I'm like, all right, time to wrap presents. And it was after Christmas that we actually got to make cookies. I didn't get to do that before Christmas, but who cares? You can make cookies anytime, right? So yeah, I was so bummed I didn't get to use the winter nature study from Our Journey Westward, Cindy West, and I didn't get to use our Brave Writer literature guide for A Christmas Carol. We used it once. We used it for 1 week, and it was great. It was incredible the week that we did use it. I really enjoyed the conversations that it sparked and some of the things we learned about vocabulary and words, and oh, it was neat. I loved it as an English teacher. I could do that all day. But I put it on the shelf to try for another time. We read through A Christmas Carol as far as we could get, but it was going into January and everybody was kind of getting tired of it by then. So I was like, okay, let's just go back to our Narnia read alouds and we'll just call it a day. That was okay to just stop and be okay with that. All right, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're interested in the Kind Kingdom or anything by the Peaceful Press, which is a Charlotte Mason family curriculum. I also have done a Gentle Feast, and I like doing both of those. Or maybe you've got kids that are my age, so you'll want to subscribe too for that.
My kids' age, not my age. I'm sure you don't have any kids that are my age.
Or if you'd like to see any more details about things that I talked about. And again, I'm so glad you're here. I hope you're having a great school year, and I've loved just sharing our homeschool with you here on Joyful Noise Learning. So you rock at homeschooling. I'll see you in the next one. Or if you want to watch this, which is about what I've learned about consistency, you can check that out. You rock at homeschooling. Go find his joy among the noise. I'll see you later.